Uh, hmm. Let's see. Let me choose the people that we can talk to about. Let's talk about Miles Garrett. So Miles Garrett requested a trade out of Cleveland, saying that he wanted to actually win. Win. That's awesome for him. But he ended up signing back with them for a lot of money. For a lot of money. Let me pull up how much money they signed for. So he signed for 4 years, $40 million. 4 years, $40 million. Like, bro, you see the defense is okay, decent, but the offense is doing so bad. Like, why would you want to stay with Cleveland if they're so dysfunctional? You haven't had a stable quarterback since I think never for Miles Garrett. I think out of his 8 year career there, um, running back had a really bad injury. We're not sure he'll live up to the same as he was before. Wide receivers, you don't really have anyone that good, to be honest. Tight end is, I'm sorry, but you should have went to another team. You could just hold out the whole season, but I guess Miles Garrett saw past Browns players were like, yo, I want to stay in Cleveland. I want that money. We're not sure if he really wanted to win or he really wants the money. So it seemed like he really wanted the money more than the winning part because if it was the winning part, he would have left already or he still would have never signed. If I was him, I would have went to a different team. Like the Rams are pretty good. They're better positioned than the Browns, the Ravens. Ooh, that would have been nasty, and many other teams. But what are you gonna do? Where Miles Garrett wants to stay, hey, his choice. But we all said you should have left. A lot of other signings, like contract restructured, all that other stuff. Not a whole lot of like major signings that I'll go over because it's just basic O line, D line, depth, uh, many other stuff. Now let's talk about the other popular free agency players that signed. Um, let's see. All right, so Devontae Adams was released by the New York Jets, and he signed with the LA Rams for a 2 year deal. How do I feel about this? I think this is a good move for Devontae Adams. Matthew Stafford came back. He's going to stay as a Ram. Um, Adams going to be their number 2 wide receiver. Puka could be their number 1. I think the system the Rams run is going to be pretty good for Devontae. Yes, in New York it wasn't the best, especially in Vegas, but both of those organizations, and the Jets fan, were not set for a playoff team. Very dysfunctional. I think the Rams have a really good coaching staff with Sean McVay and many others. I think Adams could do really well. I think he has thrived really good in LA. The 2 year deal, so we're not sure how long he'll stay after that. So he'll retire or whatnot, but he seems like he still wants to play at a high level. He does play really good. It's just hasn't been stable. So yeah, Adams goes to the Rams. A lot of players got re-signed back to their team. Josh Allen agreed a 6 year, $330 million mega contract that includes $250 million guaranteed to stay with Buffalo. Woo! He definitely, needed that money. He deserves it 100%. MVP. Um, I'm very. Trust me, as a Jets fan, I do not like to see my other teams in the division do well, but I have a little soft spot for the Bills because they lost 4 straight Super Bowls. They make the playoffs and they lose. And they're not that type of organization like the Patriots who, are always spitting on you. And I support them, but I have more of a bigger soft spot for the Dolphins though. The Dolphins are just like the Jets, but the Bills have a little bit of it. But, you know, I'll leave it like that. But Josh Allen definitely deserves this. He'll be their franchise for years to come. Very good move for the Bills to lock him up longer term. I think he had like 1 2 years left, but very good move. Now, DK Metcalf. He requested a trade out of Seattle, which I was a little bit shocked in a way because he was there for long term, but then in a way it's like you can kind of see last year and the year before, like it wasn't the greatest because they had a lot of like, sideline issues with him because he was not happy. He was not getting the ball. I don't blame him. And he requested a trade, and he got traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 2025 second round pick. 2025 second round pick for DK Metcalf, and he's like in his mid to late 20s, I think, if I'm correct. And you would get rid of DK Metcalf for a second round pick. You could have got more. Yeah, he was on his last year of his contract, but the Steelers ended up signing him to a 5-year, $150 million deal. You could have easily got more than a second round pick. He was your top guy in Seattle, and you get a second round pick. That's crazy. What I feel about this, I think the Seattle gonna do a little bit bad, but I think the fact that well, not a little bit bad. Never mind. Let me scratch that. The Seattle got another wide receiver coming in, which replaced DK. Never mind. But for Pittsburgh, Seattle, I think, didn't lose it because you replaced DK Metcalf with Cup, which helps. So I think they still could have gotten a guard or a few other picks. But for the Steelers, I think this is a really, really good move for them. You got their other wide receiver in Pickett, who, they needed another star wide receiver. And DK is that guy. And I think that's going to be really well with whoever's going to be the quarterback, which we're not sure is going to be in Pittsburgh. But I think, I'm not really sure how he'll thrive in Pittsburgh, but I feel like he'll do good too. I feel like a lot of these players you see sign with teams, you can see they're pretty much lined up of how their play calling is, and I think this is pretty good for DK. Not at the level of Devontae Adams is, because Devontae Adams is much easier to work with him than DK because of how the Rams play call is compared to the Steelers. But I think DK is still gonna be good though. Odell Beckham Jr. has been named a defendant in Ashley Paraham's amended complaint against Sean Diddy Combs is being accused of, yeah. So, how do I feel about this? Him, Drusky, and I think some other actor, if I'm correct, were accused of, this stuff. I get it. A lot of these, like, celebrities and football stars and basketball stars tend to hang out with very high-profile celebrities who aren't really, that good of a person. But Drusky, I can't really see him do that. I can't really see him do any of that. Just by videos I've seen him, and he seems like, much more level-headed. OBJ, you never know. I'm not saying OBJ, but you never know. But I still don't think OBJ is a part of that whole fiasco. It just doesn't sit well with me. He seems like a very genuine person, of what I've seen from many clips and from what people talked about him. So you know how it is nowadays. Everyone accused someone for something, and then they get all the facts, and it never even happened. Like you see, Trevor Bauer, he got accused of, what happened, and there was no proof. The girl lied, and he pretty much ruined his career. In a way, he kind of ruined it for himself because he kind of put MLB on blast, but still. And then on the other hand, there's some players who do get away with it, and you're like, huh, they're still playing? Like, I forgot this Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher. He was actually accused, like, it was evidence, and he was still playing baseball after. What? if I see a player that was accused of that, I'm not letting him on my team. But I think OBJ is safe in this one because people tend to lie a lot, especially the people who like come out like 20 years later. I mean, this is not 20 years ago, but you know what I mean. Like 20 years later, a lot of these people come out, and it happened in the 90s or early 2000s, and they're like, oh, I was accused of this. And I'm like, bro, it's been like 20 years later. Why didn't you say it like that year or a year after? Or maybe like at least 3 years after if you want to be more like, But 20 years later, what? So you get more money? Or you be well known and be popular? What is it? But yeah, I mean, we just gotta wait and see. There's really not a whole lot of information about OBJ's, uh, you know, stuff going on with him. So I have really no idea what's gonna happen with him and many other celebrities. But I'm not even sure if OBJ is even gonna play football. He hasn't been healthy. He played with the Dolphins last year. Played like what 3 games. Barely got a catch. So we're not sure. Any other player? Let's talk about Hassan Reddick signed a 1-year deal, $14 million deal with the Bucks. How does this fit with the Bucks, and how does this fit with Hassan Reddick's contract? So as you know, Hassan Reddick was with the Philadelphia Eagles for a few years. Played at a high level. The Eagles traded him to the Jets for a Jets player and I think a second round pick or a third round pick or something like that. The Jets gave them a lot for Hassan Reddick, and Hassan Reddick was pretty much hold out for more than half the season because of contract. So it was kind of ridiculous because bro was complaining about I want to be the highest paid player, this and that, da da da. He not only got like money taken away from him because missing so many games, but the thing is that he could have taken a deal like I think a year prior, and he never did. And it was a really good deal. I think it was like 75 mil or something like that, or even higher than that. I'm not really sure. But he ended up holding out with the Jet. He played like really bad. I mean, I guess okay, but kind of bad because I watch the games. I barely hear about him, or I barely like see what he does. And I'm like, dude, what is he doing? And he gets a 1-year deal, $14 million deal with the Bucks, and he must be pissed because he's like, yo, but Florida does not have any taxes, so it helps. No state taxes. Um, I'm not sure how he feels. I don't know him, but I feel like he's kind of mad right now because he's like, yo, come on, I'm getting old. I want a big contract, this and that. But as for the Bucks, I think this is a really good addition. If he plays at the level he played in Philadelphia, I think this will help tremendously with the team automatically. That position, they need a little bit help on it, but I think adding him helps them tremendously. So we'll see how he does in Tampa. Another Tampa Bay player, Chris Godwin, signed a 3-year deal, $66 million deal with the Bucks. And the crazy thing is that the New England Patriots are trying so hard to get these wide receivers. They even outbid the Bucks. It says that Chris Godwin left $20 million on the table with the Patriots due to wanting to stay in Tampa Bay with Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield. Ooh, Godwin took a huge pay cut to stay with Tampa. I'm not really sure why that is the reason for New England not getting the players that they want, but I kind of can see it. So before we get into that, I think the reason why God wants to stay with Tampa, cause it's like your home. You know, it's like it's like for example me. I lived in New York my whole life until I was right after I graduated high school. I moved to Florida for college, and then I was there for like 7 years. And I'm like, I kind of want to move back to New York. I kind of don't want to be here anymore. So then I moved back to New York. I've been here almost, I think like 2 or 3 years. So it's like that. Like you don't want to leave, but then in a way you do. So I think for him, he ended up pulling not what I did, but he ended up staying. So say I stay here for college, it's like that, and I stay in New York my whole life. So it's like him. He wants to stay in Tampa, and I think the reason why the Patriots can't get anyone to really come that's like a high level star player like Godwin and Keenan Allen and many other players is because it's Boston. Like Boston isn't really like a destination for like players. I don't know why you would think because the Patriots are like the Patriots, and then it's a sports town. The food's pretty good. But I think the reason why is because the taxes are insane. Number one. Number two, it's like always kind of crappy. The weather like pretty bad. It and I think many other factors too. I think there's just the Patriot way. It's a little too much for a lot of players. But I know they're changing that a little bit now, so I'm not really 100% sure why. But there's many other factors that could be the reason why he didn't really want to go there. But yeah, Chris Godwin stays in Tampa. Then we have many other players signed here and there. I would go over them, but Oh, former Jet DJ Reed signed a 3-year deal, $48 million deal with the Detroit Lions. How is this? I think this is, as a Jets fan, I'm not really 100% sure because he kind of pissed me off when he was on our team. Like when he was on our team the first year or two, he was good. I was like, oh my god, is he like the next Revis Island? And then he just fell off this past year. He wasn't trying. He would just let them go by him easily. It's like, dude, like, don't blame the coordinator. Blame yourself. You're not playing at a high level. Like, nah. And he was playing so bad, and I'm okay with him leaving. Like, it's fine. I really don't care. But I think for the Lions, I think he might put more effort in it because the Lions are a little different. I think they're much better organized, I guess, than the Jets. So I feel like he's gonna see that and he's gonna have a lot of respect and actually play at a different level, and change his attitude. We just gotta see. We gotta see what happens. But I think it's a really good deal for the Lions. As for anyone else, Sam Darnold. He signed a 3-year deal worth $110 million deal with the Seattle Seahawks. So this one, I was a little bit confused for Seattle. I honestly thought that Seattle was going to go get someone else, like either keep Geno Smith or I would say go after maybe someone in the draft. Either someone in the draft or not Kirk Cousins. I feel like it would have been someone totally different than Sam Darnold. I just don't get it because Sam Darnold does not fit their play style. Does not fit. Because if you haven't seen the Eagles, the Seahawks are always known for like Russell Wilson type plays or Geno Smith. More of your legs, more of your play action passes, more of you moving around. Sam Darnold is not that person. He's more of a Minnesota Vikings offense. Don't have to move a lot, throw the ball, get some protection, boom. And I just don't get why. Yes, Sam Darnold has improved a lot since he was drafted. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure on this. It just doesn't sit well with me. Yeah, he did really well with the Vikings, and it showed that he can hold a franchise down for sure. But it's just different play calling compared to Seattle from Minnesota. Very different. So we just gotta wait and see. Now, as for the New York Jets, my New York Jets, we were having a lot of discussion. Well, I didn't have it, but they were having a lot of discussion of who's going to be starting quarterback. They let Aaron Rodgers go, and pretty much they were like, all right, who's going to be the starting quarterback? A lot of people in the building were saying Tyrod Taylor, maybe the backup quarterback who was injured. I forgot his name, but he hasn't even started one preseason game, right? Unless he did. And they weren't sure what to do. Maybe someone in the draft, maybe Sanders will be available, but that's kind of like risky because you're picking number 7. So they ended up signing Justin Fields. to a 2-year deal. And I think it's a really good deal, by the way, for the Jets, because it's a 2-year deal, $40 million deal. And I think this is the really good move for the Jets because you're not having him long term. You see how well he did in Pittsburgh. Like, yes, he didn't play for the whole season, but I just don't get why Pittsburgh benched him for some weird reason. But you see that he has the capability to, be a quarterback for a franchise. So I think they're not, giving him the whole meal, but they're giving them half the meal. What I mean by that is not letting him be the starting quarterback for years to come, but they're going to test him out this year, see how he does. If he does really good, maybe sign an extension next year. If he doesn't, maybe let him go, trade him, or just ride it out. Yeah. Also about having Justin Fields is that he pairs up with not only his wide receiver Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, but it's also the Jets line, the center that was at Ohio State. And then you had a couple of 2 or 3 other Buckeyes who played with Justin Fields. So I think this is going to be a similar thing like the Knicks are doing with Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, Mikael Bridges. They're playing really good together because they know each other since college. So we'll see if they turn into one of the Nova Knicks for the Jets, which I would call it, Buckeye Jet. I mean, that's decent, but that'll be pretty interesting. That'll be a good paper for the New York Daily News. What else? Joshua Palmer signs with the Buffalo Bills, 3-year, $36 million deal. This one I think is good for Buffalo. I think their need at wide receiver is much different than it was in the past. Because if you've seen the past, Buffalo was always eager to sign big name free agents like Terrell Owens, Stephon Diggs, little trader sign, and just get those players to be on the team. But for some reason, it doesn't really work out. It's not all about the names. It's all about if they fit their play calling. So Joshua Palmer really is a unique player and it's a little bit interesting because his career, he didn't start out that good. No. He barely got any playing time. If he did, he played good, but you can see some flashes. But this past year in LA, he did good for the Chargers. Not a whole lot, but you can see a lot of more potential coming out of him because he was able to get the ball much more. So how did this line up with Josh Allen? I think this is going to help a lot because he can be a deep threat down the field, which the Bills didn't really have. I mean, they kind of do in a way, but that's going to help a lot. A lot of speed. I think he's going to be good for the Bills. So let's just see what happens. Another Eagles player, Josh Sweat, signed a 4-year deal worth $76 million deal. So this one's gonna hurt for the Eagles. He was their top dog on that defensive line. This is gonna hurt them a little bit. For Arizona, awesome. You needed that. You needed your defense was bad, and you add him. Perfect. I know he's not the biggest guy. He's not the biggest or most flashiest, but he had the strength. He had the quickness. He really knows how to get around an O-line easily. And I think it's going to help the Cardinals tremendously, especially in that division. That's really tough. So you add him, awesome. As for what other team? The Jets signed free agent quarterback Brandon Stephens to a 3-year, $36 million deal. That one, alright. So this one, a lot of Jets fans were kind of disappointed. They were like, come on, man, he's trash. Last year was so bad. But 2 years in a row, I think he ended up being a Pro Bowler 1 year. If I'm correct, it might not be. But he was really good. the year or two before. Really good. So it's okay if one bad year. It's okay. We're not trying to spend too much money on NFL players. We could have, but it would have been too much for the luxury taxes, and we do not want that. So, you know, we just gotta wait to see how he does with the Jets. Who knows? What else? What else? What else? Oh, Zach Wilson signed a 1 year deal with the Miami Dolphins. Interesting. Very interesting. No question about that. What other players? I'm trying to see what other, well-known players. I could go for some players, but it's really nothing else to really talk about. Oh, so let's talk about Aaron Rodgers, and then like next week I'll talk more about the NFL free agency. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. I could be here all day. So let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers, like I said, got released by the Jets like a few days ago, and a lot of teams were interested in him. Not a lot, but a few teams: the Steelers, the Giants, the Browns, and I think the Vikings. The Vikings. So those are the four teams that are interested in Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers taking 10 years because these teams want to find a quarterback already, but they also want to see where Russell Wilson will go. So Russell Wilson's waiting for him, and he's playing that shadow, whatever, dark time room, whatever you want to call it. You gotta stop. You gotta stop, bro. You're like 40, what, 42? Like, dude, either you retire or play with a team. No other NFL player has done this. I would say the only one maybe is like Tom Brady, but that didn't last you for weeks. But Tom Brady is like Tom Brady. So I kind of let that slide. But, dude, just not with the team. The Giants need a quarterback badly. But don't go to them because they don't know how to win a game. They have Middle East neighbors and what? Who else? The Vikings are your best option because they have everything there. Sign with them. They're somewhat interested in you. The Steelers can be one of the good teams that you want to sign with. They have DK Metcalf, Pickens, running back. I'm not really sure. Good O-line, which it tends to be a little better. D-line defense is good. Choose them. Browns, stay away from them. Stay away. But it's that simple. Like, why are you being so annoying? That's what I really want to know. Why? Because even one of the Steelers players, what's his name? I think his name is Hayward. Yeah, I think it's Cameron Hayward is tired of the QB talk and wants Aaron Rodgers to make a decision. And he says this. He said, "I ain't doing the darkness retreat. I don't need any of that crap. Either you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or you don't. That's simple. That's the pitch. If you want me to recruit, that's the recruiting pitch. Pittsburgh Steelers. If you want to be a part of it, so be it. If you don't, no skin off my back." We're saying, bro, make up your mind. Stop taking 10 years and pick 18. Pick it. If you were like in your mid to early 20s or like late 20s and you're a really, really good player, like a really, really good player, and you're doing this for like a few days or something like that, then okay, maybe, but still kind of annoying. But you're 40-something years old. You did this before with the Jets. You were taking how many weeks with the Jets, and then you signed with them? Like, what? It was ridiculous. It was really, 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 really ridiculous when I was trying to find out if you were going to come to the Jets or not.